Coming right up, the 5 things you must know before running your first marathon. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having an awesome day. I just finished a 1-hour run, so I'm feeling really good. And as I'm getting back into my marathon training, I'm thinking back at all the races I've run and even all the way back to my first marathon. But not only that, all of the mistakes I've made over the years while running. So today, in this first part of 5 things you must know, I'm going to cover 5 essential things that you should be thinking about before running your first marathon, and hopefully it helps you if you're training right now or if you're thinking about training for a marathon. So let's get into it. Here's number 1. All right, number 1 is you got to get yourself some anti-chafe. Now I've been using this brand right here, Body Glide. I don't know if this is the same company, Body Glide, or just Glide. They may have changed the packaging. But if you don't know what chafing is when you have an article of clothing that rubs against a part of your body, and when combined with sweat, it gets irritated, all hot and bothered. Sometimes it even opens up into like a sore, gets really painful. It also occurs though when 2 body parts rub together, like your underarms, your thighs, even your butt cheeks. So what this anti-chafe is it's just like a deodorant. You pull the cap off. You can put it on your nipples, you can put it on your underarms, you can put it on your inner thighs. Some people put it in their groin area. I've heard of people putting it on their feet. And anywhere that you think you're going to experience chafing, put it on, and it acts as not like a lubricant, because it's not like oily, it's not sticky. It just makes things glide together, glide over each other. It's a game changer if you've never used it. All right, so here's the thing on Glide. I believe they do not test on animals, and it is all derived from plants. So it's all natural. So that's why I use it. I don't know about other anti-chafe products. This one I've been using for years. Here's the thing. If you show up to a race and you have forgotten your Glide or your anti-chafe, and you ask another runner, hey man, can I borrow some anti-chafe? And they give you theirs, right? And you pull off the cap and you're like, man, that smells like ass. Guess what? It's been between their butt cheeks, because people put it everywhere. So just be aware, if you forget your anti-chafe and you borrow somebody else's, it may have been somewhere you don't want to know about. Let's get to number 2. All right, everyone, number 2, shoes. If you have found during your training the perfect pair of shoes to run in, I just happen to be running in these Nike Vaporflies right now. I'm actually pretty stoked because I've never been able to run in Nikes, but this particular pair has been working great for me. So during your training, if you find the right pair of shoes that feel good, they fit right, and you're thinking, I'm gonna wear these during the marathon, buy a second pair immediately. Why? Because during your training, say you're doing a 10-month training block or maybe a 12-month training block, 5 or 6 months in, that first pair of shoes is probably gonna, depending on how many miles you're running, they may get a little worn out, you know, they may be getting a little looser fitting, and they just may be getting broken down. So by the time race day comes, you're probably gonna need another pair of shoes. The reason why I suggest buying a new pair immediately is because if you wait too long and then you think, hey, it's a month before the race, 2 months before the race, I'm gonna buy the exact same pair of shoes. You go online, guess what? They don't have your size anymore, or even worse, the shoe is discontinued. I've had it happen to me. It causes a bunch of stress, not worth it. So buy that second pair immediately. Here's the other thing. If you look in any shoe, you look at, most likely it's going to be on this little insole. If you look at that little tag, it'll tell you the country that the shoe was made in. This particular pair was made in Vietnam, okay? So just so you know, I do this, I practice what I preach. This is the exact same shoe, different color, but when I look at the inside, it's also made in Vietnam. Here's why this is important. If you find them from the same country of origin, they're more than likely going to fit exactly the same. It's also possible, though, that that exact same shoe could be made in a different country. The Philippines, China, Mexico. And in that particular circumstance, you may get the exact same shoe, but it may not feel the same. I happen to know a lot about shoes. I'll tell you about it in another episode, but just trust me on this one. Buy the second pair, and if you can find it from the same country of origin, buy it immediately, and you'll thank me later. Let's get to number 3. Back on to number 3. In the same vein as buying shoes and figuring out what shoes you're going to wear on race day, the same should apply to your clothing, socks, any gear that you're going to wear on race day, right? So I would suggest 8 to 12 weeks before out your race, start wearing the shorts you think you're going to wear on race day, shirt, socks, whatever it is. So if you start running in these shorts, keep running in them. And if you think, hey, those are the ones, then keep wearing them. And then if you feel like you need to buy another pair of shorts, you really probably won't run out and wear out too fast. Set them aside and say, okay, these are the ones I'm going to wear on race day. Same thing with your shirt. Same thing with your socks. If you're wearing a beanie, wear it. Sometimes when I'm running in the cold, I wear gloves, okay? And the thought process here is on race day, you want it to just be automatic. Everything will feel natural, comfortable, routine, because you've been doing it over and over and over again for the past however many months up to race day. So when you get to race day, you don't want any stress. You just want things to be automatic. I know what shoes I'm wearing. I know what socks I'm wearing, shorts, shirt, jacket maybe, gloves, hat. That way you can be out the door, and then when you toe up to the start line, all you have to do is run. One more thing on clothing. If you run a major marathon, let's just pick the New York City Marathon, okay? They have what's called the Marathon Expo. It usually opens 2 to 3 days before the race. That's where you go pick up your bib, and they've got all sorts of different seminars and things going on. But what they also have are clothing vendors, shoe vendors, nutritional vendors, product vendors. And what'll end up happening is you might see something that you really like. It's a really cool shirt that says New York City Marathon 2020, and you say, you know what? I'm gonna buy that shirt and I'm gonna wear it on race day. Even though you brought the gear you've been running in for the past 5, 6, 7 months during your training. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Here's the reason. You may buy that shirt, put it on, start running in it, feels good for maybe the first 2 or 3 miles, and then all of a sudden, it could be something as simple as the little tag on the back, maybe a little stitch point or a seam starts rubbing you the wrong way. It starts irritating you, and then you get fixated on it. You start to lose focus. Guess what? Your race goes out the window because you become anxious. You know, do I take the shirt off? What do I do? Your sole focus should be executing your game plan that you've been planning on and preparing for over the past several months. Don't make this mistake. I've done it before. I'm trying to save you the headache and the anguish of doing it. So wear what you bring. You can buy stuff at the expo, wear it after the race, show everybody you ran. Don't wear it on race day. Okay, let's get to number 4. All right, everyone, we're almost there. Number 4, in the same vein of shoes and clothing, you also want to start trying out different nutrition and different hydration while you're doing your training runs, so that when it comes to race day, you'll have all of that dialed in. Let me give you a couple of examples. I've been using bonk breakers as my nutrition for, I don't know, the past 9, 10 years. I love bonk breakers. This is peanut butter and jelly. It comes in a couple of different flavors. There's another one, comes in blueberry. Bonk Breakers also makes Bonk Breaker Minis, which is like half this size. So nutrition, start trying it early. Hydration, I've been using Tailwind for the past X amount of years. Love it, mixes well with water, lots of different flavors. Figure out if you're going to be carrying your hydration, if you're going to carry a water bottle, if you're going to carry one that has like a strap on it. The idea then, again, is you want everything to be during your training, figuring all of that stuff out so you don't got to worry about it on race day. Now, if you think you're just going to show up on race day and drink what they're offering on the course, because most major marathons, even smaller marathons, they always serve hydration. Could be Gatorade, could be Powerade. If you haven't drank Gatorade before and you show up to the race and you think, hey, I'm just going to drink Gatorade during the race, guess what? It may not settle well with your stomach. You might have an upset stomach, and then all of a sudden you become fixated on that, you lose focus, and your race goes out the window. If you're running a major marathon, half marathon, even some 5Ks and 10Ks, you can look up the race website, you can call the race director, and you can ask them, hey, what hydration are you serving during the race? They typically start at mile 3, and then they have a serving station or an aid station every mile thereafter. And it'll be the same hydration all the way to the end of the race. Some race websites also tell you what kind of nutrition they're going to serve, whether it's bananas, power bars, doesn't matter. So if you want to look at the race website and figure out, okay, that's what they're going to be serving, I'm going to start using that stuff during my training runs. That's not a bad idea either. Point is, practice with it, get comfortable to what you want to use on race day, and then don't change when it comes to race day, right? Use what you've been using, and you'll execute your race way better, and it'll be a no-brainer. All right, on to number 5. We're on to the last one, number 5. If you're running a race, let's say in a different city, you're traveling to a race and you're gonna have to stay in a hotel, a motel, even somebody's house. Bring a pair of slippers or something that you can put on easily when you're walking around, especially before you go to bed. The reason is, if you're not familiar with the surroundings, where things are situated, wherever you're staying, and you're walking around barefoot, you may end up stubbing your toe. That would be horrible. It's happened to me right before a race. You don't want that to happen. I just bring, my old house slippers. Easy to put on. I keep them right by the bed. So if I have to get up in the middle of the night, go to the restroom, you always kind of want to know, okay, where's the light switch? Where are the table legs? Am I going to run into anything? But most importantly, before you get up and start walking around, put the slippers on, put the shoe on, whatever it is, protect your feet before race day. You don't want to stub your toe, break a toe, cut your foot. It would be a disaster, trust me, and it's happened to me. All right, everybody, that does it for this episode and this segment of 5 things you should know. Hope the information was helpful. If you, though, think of something or have something that you want to add to this conversation or that you think may help other runners, please leave it in the comments below, because the running community, swimming community, biking community, triathlon community, if you're part of it, we're all here to help each other, make each other better, right, as runners. With that, I must leave you with, be well, be kind to yourself and others, and most importantly, believe in yourself, because if you don't, no one else will. I'll see you on the next episode. Have a good one.